blocks our clarity, and also it becomes very murky. We may look for answers, and many times answers are not easy, or sometimes there are no answers. Even when answers come, we are not able to accept it. But sometimes there is hardly any answer. Like say if someone gets cancer, there is no exact answer. We do know philosophically karma and all those things, but there is no exact answer. Like why did it turn out this way? So then some level of faith is required. So we assume obstacles won't come, and the other biggest assumption is obstacles are bad. That any difficulty, any struggle, any problem, it's bad. We always think suffering is bad, and Krishna's mercy means it needs to come in a very happy package, in a very beautiful package, in a very comfortable package. However, Krishna's mercy can come in very different forms. And so there is an assumption that obstacles are bad, and if at all Krishna wants to give me his mercy, he needs to give it in a certain way. And because of that, then what can be actually the biggest fortune of life, though it is packaged in the form of a misfortune, we may miss it. Oh, this is bad, so I don't want to look into it. And the other assumption is that any struggle or obstacles or difficulties, they are insurmountable. Because we are overwhelmed, we think it's impossible for me to overcome this situation. Because we assume, well, it will never come, and when it happens, we assume it is bad. So we don't think it is possible for us to overcome. So these three things are the main reasons that obstacles they become actually obstacles, and they don't help us grow if we have these assumptions that it will never come, or it is bad, or it is insurmountable. But Krishna says, if you depend on me, Machita Sarva Durgani. He says Durga means obstacle. He says all obstacles you could actually overcome. Machita Sarva Durgani, Mat Prasada Tarishasi. By my mercy you can overcome all. Literally he uses the word obstacle there. You can overcome all obstacles by my mercy. But if you approach it egoistically, you will suffer. So that also he clearly tells Arjuna. That you may see so many obstacles in this battlefield, but you will cross over all of these things by my mercy. But if you approach it egoistically, take a decision, then you will have to face all the consequences. And we do see when Arjuna surrenders, there are so many instances Krishna actually uses his supremacy to save Arjuna. Like when he takes a vow, if Jayadratha won't be killed by tomorrow evening, I'll enter fire. And it was impossible humanly for him to achieve defeat. And Krishna had to intervene at the last moment, and in a very show his omnipotence and save Arjuna. So there are so many circumstances in which it was insurmountable. Yes, not all obstacles are insurmountable. We are not giving the pep talk like the positivity of the world that you can do anything. Yeah, it's not possible that we can do anything. But when we depend on Krishna, Krishna will help us cross over what we need to cross over, and however we need to do that. And also, how do we transform these struggles into strength? That's the biggest difficulty in the path of a sadhaka. That how am I going to interpret whatever is happening in my life in a way that can actually push me towards Krishna? Not push me away from Krishna, push me away from the association, but how can I use all these things to push myself towards Krishna? And that's what we are trying to see through the example of Parikshit Maharaj. I'm sure all of us or most of us know about Maharaj Parikshit, that he was one of the greatest kings and the grandson of the Pandavas, and literally stopped the flow of Kali Yuga. Because time is the ruler of this world. Time moves everything. Like nothing can actually stop or hold time. But he actually holds the flow of Kali, the influence of Kali. He stops it through his ruling power. He stops the flow of Kali through proper governance, and that's how great he was. Imagine someone actually controlling the flow of time, and then when someone's life is so glorious, and if they just slip in the bathroom and die, it just becomes like a kind of an insult. Many times it has happened in life that someone really great how they die is like very silly way. It's like kind of insult in the way they die actually, and it's a way of Krishna pulling a joke on people, like in one sense, like in the form of time. He just okay, somebody is so great, but how like someone like as big as Hitler just shoots himself. Someone who had the ability to influence so many people just commits suicide, which is a very coward way of dying. So time pulls joke on so many powerful people in this world. And here Parikshit Maharaj had such an amazing, glorious life, and then he gets cursed by a small boy to die in 7 days. And the way he shows his attitude in those few verses in the beginning of the 19th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is what we are going to focus today, that in those first 19 verses, his mood is very, very impressive and very inspiring. And he says, like, the moment he realizes what he did is not right, he's not trying to justify, oh, I was hungry or I was thirsty and the sage did not welcome. He does not put any blame on the situation. He just says, I did not behave well. Whatever difficulty needs to come on me, let it come. He's not, first thing is like, he's not justifying, oh, that was the reason, this was the reason. He's not shifting any blame on anything. Rather, he just takes onus. He completely assumes responsibility. I think that's the first step in order in being able to face struggles in a very graceful way, is to basically take responsibility, acceptance, and also taking accountability. Yes, I did do something which is going to result in some kind of repercussion. And at this point, he hasn't heard the curse at all. He didn't even know. He doesn't even know that he was already cursed. The news hasn't reached him yet, and already he's showing deep repentance in those verses. And he says, I am ready to actually face anything. And because I committed this mistake, any reversal, I will take it as an opportunity to actually burn away my ego and attachments. And he welcomes the difficulty and says that Krishna is the greatest, so whatever he actually offers me, I'll accept it as his mercy. And then he actually receives the news. Okay, you have been cursed. Because he lived in this attitude, when difficulties came, he was like not surprised. He was not shocked. He wasn't heartbroken. How can Krishna do this to me? Like, I was such a nice devotee. I actually stopped the influence of Kali, and my ruling this world was giving so much benefit to all of these people, not for my own sake, for the benefit of the world. I should have continued to live. It's not just for any personal reason. I could have continued to serve in so many ways. So there are so many justifications, but whatever happened has happened. And pretty much I'm saying all this from a personal perspective. When struggles come to my life, how am I supposed to see it? I'm not saying this is how I need to justify when I post struggle in someone's life. Like, I'm not saying that, because I can be the reason for someone struggling, but I don't need to say, oh, I'm not giving a lecture to them saying, okay, this is how we should see. But for the individual who is going through, there is no better way to face life than this. This is best from the perspective. Bhagavatam is teaching from a personal perspective. So we are seeing, putting ourselves in the shoes of Parikshit and learning. Of course, there are many perspectives to look at the past, but here we are taking it from a personal perspective. And he goes on, and then he expresses, and then he only thing he says is, okay, even if I die, even if that snake bird comes and bites me, all I need is 3 boons. And it is so amazing. It is considered one of the important verses by Jiva Goswami also for an attitude of a sadhaka. He says, this is all I actually want. I'm just trying to pull the particular verse. Basically, I know what are the 3 things. One is, he says he wants complete attachment to Krishna, even in the future life. Like, even I can be bit by this, but all I want is I want complete attachment to Krishna, and also I want association of devotees in my future life. And he says, I want friendly relationship with all living beings. Let me not have any envy towards anyone. So these are the 3 boons he asked. I got the verse. Like, he says, Punascha bhuyat bhagavat ananto rati prasangascha tada shreshu Mahatsuyam yam upayami srishtim maitrastu sarvatra namo dvijebhyo. So he says, I pray that if I should again take birth in the material world, I'll have complete attachment to the unlimited Lord Krishna, association with devotees, and friendly relations with all living beings. So this is his attitude, and this can be kind of emulated by everybody, because whatever is happening in our life, forget about the in the future life, even whatever we are going through in the future, in this life also, what we want is we want to grow closer to Krishna, we want to actually develop deeper association with devotees, and we want to have friendly relation with everybody as much as possible. So this can be the reasons for like kind of mood that with which we can approach life. Then actually this is how he is showing that yeah, it is not that his life was smooth and he did amazing contributions. Still, he did face that kind of a curse which came about in a very harsh way. And how he approached was, okay, what is the good around this bad? So his attitude of looking at that was, his curse actually blessed the whole world. The curse that Parikshit Maharaj received blessed the whole world. And how? Because how he approached it. What he saw, okay, what is the good around this bad? So he's not just focusing on the problem, but he's also focusing on the blessings in his life that it can bring. So because he was in a right attitude, this curse acted like a reminder of his mortality, a chance to disconnect from his worldly responsibilities and focus more on Krishna and to go deeper into spiritual life. So there was some good that surrounded the bad that immediately came about in his personal life. And also, what is the good that can come from the bad? So by his being cursed, what did we all get? We got Srimad Bhagavatam. So he steps away from the kingdom without regret and he vows to actually fast until death. And Krishna arranges for him to actually hear Srimad Bhagavatam to facilitate his journey through those 7 days. And it became a gift to all future generations. So there is some good that comes from the bad. And we can, if we are very honest and look at all the difficulties that we go through in life, there is always some good that comes from that bad, which we may not always feel it as good, but there is always some silver lining to it. And also the third question that we can ask when we are facing, which can to transform our struggle into strength, is what quality is Krishna trying to develop in me? So these three questions, like what is the good around this bad, what is the good that can come from this bad, and what is that Krishna wants me to learn from this experience? These three questions can actually immediately it can be very difficult, but eventually the more and more we lean into these questions and try to answer and approach the situation, then we can see what Krishna is trying to teach us through all these experiences. Any thoughts though so far? Anything that anyone wants to add? Yeah. Okay.
Hare Krishna. So, in case we are not so elevated enough to know the answers to those three questions, how do we, where do we get the answers from the other devotees or?
In general, it's good to fill our lives with good perspectives. In general, we don't need to wait for struggles to come. When everything is good, we invest in bhakti, we learn the right perspectives, we strengthen ourselves devotionally. So when struggles do catch us, like they surprises us, we have some amount of what do you call, like preparation done. So that's one thing. And of course, when it is going to hit us, then as I said, it can block the clarity because we are overwhelmed. So we can be blocked actually from the clarity that we develop. So we can reach out to others that we trust and who can actually bring us closer to Krishna and who can help us actually come closer to Krishna. Otherwise, then we can actually, these circumstances can make us more bitter. So take association which can actually make the situation better, not bitter. And of course, turn to Krishna also personally, ask these questions, because people can tell a lot of things that can pacify us, but in our own hearts, if we are not planning to, if we are not trying to turn towards Krishna and really ask that question, okay, what is that you want me to learn, Krishna, and then come before Krishna and present. This is the struggle. I'm not able to make any sense why this is happening to me, but I do know if this has happened and if you have sanctioned it, it has a role, and let me actually learn what is that reason for which you have brought this upon me. What is the role that this has in my life? So please show me. I'm not able to understand, but I'm not going to go away from you. I'm going to stand close and come close to you in my relationship and try to understand, not just understand for the sake of knowing logically, but rather to actually come closer to Krishna.
So when you initially asked us a few devotional questions and we individually replied, which is like, can we, it's just trying to validate the understanding that the answers which some of the devotees gave, that is more on the Nishkam Karma perspective, that we are not the controllers, don't be attached to the results. And the explanations which you have been elaborating is at a higher level of on bhakti side, where how obstacles can bring us closer to Krishna. Is that the right understanding? How we can kind of different perspectives on this?
You could say it that way. Basically, the bhakti perspective also includes all of those things, because when I say that, when I understand that Krishna controls everything, then so when we say that Krishna controls everything, so that means it's an implicit understanding that I don't control things, and I may try my best, but it's not within me that the results will turn away the same way. So initially, as the perspective is I don't control, but we are also clarifying who actually controls. So in that way, it's an implicit understanding within that broader understanding. Anybody else? So there are other things that we can see how we can transform the struggles into surrender. Basically, we adjust the expectation. We have a certain expectation, but it's better if we see, okay, adjust the expectation that obstacles are part of living in this world. Surprises, struggles, pains, these are part of the world. So adjust the expectation. If we come to with an attitude that no, my life has no place for any pain, so then it's not going to be easy for us to handle it. Yes, there is a reason this is happening. I may not understand, and it's going to come in my life, whether I want or not. There is going to be painful circumstances and struggles in life, internally, externally, both. A lot of time we tend to think struggles are only imposed by others on us. But there's so much within my own heart that I hold on to, I hide behind, I'm lazy about working on it, and Krishna has been giving me indications, opportunities to work on them. And if I'm not working, I cannot come close to Krishna. So Krishna has no option. He has to break that shell, then he has to take a hammer and he has to break that shell using those circumstances, and it can feel extremely very painful. So because Krishna wants us to develop a closer relationship with him, and my own ego, my own attachments in this world, my own illusions are stopping me from developing an intimate connection with Krishna. So Krishna is taking a step forward in helping us. He knows in our how many times we all come and pray that Krishna, Radha Muralidharji, I just want to be your servant. I just want, and then we say that, and then outside the temple room we do many things which is against those desires. Then Krishna is like, this is your innermost desire, and you are like doing so many things. So let me put the block in all those places so that you can actually come to your original desire. So how many times we see a student says, I really want to pass this examination, and the parents are saying, that means, okay, I'm going to take away your iPad, I'm going to block your YouTube access. But not because the parents don't love, because it's for the benefit of the child, because that the child is wanting to achieve something in life, and it's also distracted. So it's the parents' job and duty out of love that they are actually blocking those things so that the child can go where it wants to go. So the same way we all have in the deepest heart, in the heart of our hearts, our prayer to Krishna is, I want to be your servant. and then we try hard to be the masters in the world, then Krishna has to break that. So that we can actually come closer to our original desire. So that is why if we adjust the expectation and embrace the situation, it may not be the most easiest thing. Most of the times it's not the situations. Not knowing why this is happening is also very irritating. I'm not sure if I'm the one who feels like that. Like, okay, I understand I can expect anything in this world, but why at this time this particular thing? And there is no logic to it in my mind. I cannot figure it out. And it's extremely frustrating. So I go around this cycle. I understand everything is Krishna's arrangement, but why? Why now? Why this? So that is also we don't have an answer. So then it hurts more. Not knowing why hurts more than the struggle itself, and it makes it even worse. So we all know, okay, I'm not this body, karma is real, everything is Krishna's plan, suffering is purification. We all know this. However, it's in the head. In the heart, we are actually having a different kind of a feeling. So they both are not completely aligned. So and our ego is still clinging to control, clinging to comfort, and so we also confuse spiritual comfort with material comfort. So there's that feeling like I came to this kirtan, it was so amazing, and I just felt like completely uplifted. And we think that is the spiritual experience. It is the only way actually spiritual life should feel. There cannot be any other way that spiritual comfort can come. But Krishna is like, yes, if you want to continuously experience that, you want to go to the next step. It's not just a sensory experience alone. If you want to feel connection in heart and that complete conviction, yes, Krishna is there for me and Krishna will protect me, that can actually happen when we experience it in a strugglesome time. I remember personally, for me, life was like bhakti, how I approached was logical. And if anybody prayed too much and then said, Krishna arranged for me, this for me, Krishna did this, I'm like, oh, how sentimental this. Like, I may not say, but in my heart I will say, okay, at least I'm not this sentimental. Like, I just approached as a set of rules and practiced it and never thought like I need to pray anything specifically, or I never even had that kind of faith that Krishna needs to work in my life. I thought, oh, I'm such a small person. I don't think Krishna has better things to do. I live my life. I don't think Krishna needs to intervene in my life. I take my decisions. I manage my life. So that is how I approach. And I do know, because I had friends who would pray and who would come and tell me, please pray, Prabhuji, like I'm thinking of this, and I'm like, okay, I'll pray, but you do something about it. Don't just keep praying, do something about it. That was my attitude often. Why pray? Just do something about it. Krishna will make it happen if that's what is supposed to happen. And when my mom actually was developed terminal cancer, and there was so much things, and I eventually ended up in India, and I don't know why I'm going and how long my mom is going to live. I had no idea. It's in the middle of the pandemic, and it's because it's in the middle of the pandemic, I cannot bring devotees to my home for kirtan, nothing. My parents lived in a place where there were not any much association, hardly any association, no temple, no devotees like that, and I was also not like, okay, focus on the treatment, focus on these practical things and everything. And then of course my mom was spiritually very interested. She started listening Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam and all those things. And she was not able to understand why this. I was a nice person, I did everything for my family, I didn't hurt anyone, and why this happened to me. So this question usually is there, like why do bad things happen to good people? But from the beginning, Bhagavatam is showing, the Bhagavatam is a collection of stories showing us what do good people do when bad things happen to them. So we assume we are good people, and we question like why do bad things happen to me, and we are convinced that these things happening to me are bad. And there are multiple assumptions that this thing is bad and I am good. There is a clear assumption there. But here Bhagavatam is showing what do actually good people do when bad things happen to them. Even if we think it's bad, how are they approaching it? So my mom was really struggling with that. Like I would convince her, and again it would bubble up. She would cry. She couldn't just not digest. And the more she engaged in chanting and everything, I thought I could see that she was softening up. She was accepting it. Okay, whatever it is. I don't understand, but I think it's inevitable. I need to accept it. To some extent, it was not fully easy for her. And then this is my mom's journey, and my journey through all of this was, I was thinking, oh, why would Krishna arrange things for me? And then I see a devotee calls me, I'm actually coming to the next town to your place. I heard your mom is sick. Can I come do some kirtan? I'm like, okay. So then this devotee comes. And then he brings Mahaprasad from the temple, and he brings Jagannath Ji's personal toothbrush that they use in Jagannath Puri. And my mom had some affection for Lord Jagannath. And I could not but be surprised that it's like, I did not tell this devotee anything about my mom, and he does not know anything about my mom. And he brings that out of the blue. He says, this is Jagannath, Pandak gave me, and I thought your mom is passing away, I should bring this. So he comes. And then I tell my mom, this is Jagannath Ji's personal toothbrush that he uses in Jagannath Puri. And she was actually having tears in her eyes, because these things kept one after another happening. And after she left her body, there was this final procession. Her body was being taken, and 3 devotees come. I had asked them, I had invited them, but I wasn't sure if they were coming. But they came at the right time, and they gave me garlands, 3 garlands. I asked whose garlands are there? They said Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. And that garlands went on my mom. The last garlands that she was having on her was Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra's garland. So, and she was in the hospital sitting and watching Jagannath Rath Yatra was happening during that time. She was telling me, okay, show me in the live. And she was watching Snan Yatra live right in the hospital bed. So I was like, usually not, like I would consider these things as very sentimental. I'm like, oh, okay. Means I wouldn't think much of them, but when it was happening again, I could not but understand that Krishna is actually taking care of me and taking care of my mom for whatever little devotional service that she performed. So it actually changed my perspective in life. I felt like I had taken a new birth in devotional service where my own faith got completely reinforced. But I cannot say for that my mom had to get cancer or anything. It is that Krishna was utilizing all the karma that had to come, but he can actually utilize that in a way that we can come closer to Krishna. It is not that Krishna has to put extra special obstacles. If he wants, he can. However, most of the times, he uses what we already have in our own package, but he uses it in such a way that we can come actually closer to him. And it's also our personal responsibility that we develop the right attitude, so those things don't like take us away from Krishna, rather brings us closer to Krishna. So it is said that when a devotee actually surrenders, the karma is taken over by Guru or taken over by Krishna, and then there is suffering in devotee's life. So then how do we understand? Is it karma? Is it Krishna? So one explanation that I found very satisfying is like, say for example, if someone owns a car and they sell it to the neighbor, and it is parked in the same place, I'm their friend, I go there. So for me, it's parked in the same place and it's my friend's car. I've known always. But I don't know that he has sold it and the papers have changed, the ownership has changed. And that person who bought it can choose to keep the car as such or can remodel the car. Similarly, the karma belonged to us, but the ownership now belongs to Krishna. He can choose it to present it in the same way how we would have otherwise experienced it, or he can tweak it in ways that actually can bring us closer to it. He can choose it. So now when we say the karma is taken over by Krishna, it's not that we won't suffer. The karma belongs to us. The ownership is taken over by Krishna, and he's continuing. It's not that we will not have any karma, we will not have any suffering, but that suffering can be customized by Krishna in a way that we can come closer to him. He can use it, he can dispose it, he can change it, or he can do whatever he wants. So that's what surrender means. Surrender does not mean that now I don't have any karma, I am free of any karma. No, we are now actually in a bigger complication, because we are at the mercy of Krishna. We are not at the mercy of the karma, we are at the mercy of Krishna. So what is better? To be at the mercy of our own karma or to be at the mercy of Krishna? Because for millions of lifetimes we have been at the mercy of our karma. It does not take us anywhere. it's be in the same cycle. Our consciousness does not get completely evolved, there is no guarantee. But when we keep ourselves at the mercy of Krishna, then there is a guaranteed choice that our consciousness can actually develop and expand. So it's between it's our choice. Do we want to be at the mercy of our karma? Do we want to be at the mercy of Krishna? And Krishna is a better boss. And so he is a boss. He will choose how he wants to present it. But the faith is like, yes, at the end of the day, I'll come closer to Krishna. So the idea is, if we are attached to not suffering, that's where the problem is. We are attached to not suffering. We are not attached to coming close to Krishna. We are not excited about my relationship with Krishna will become more pronounced, will become more stronger. My relationship with Krishna will become more evident, and I'll be able to feel that connection internally, the loving reciprocation. We are not excited about that. We are paranoid about suffering. So our focus is on not suffering. It's not on, oh, I'm going to come close to Krishna. So the more and more we shift it, and we see from this perspective of life that, yeah, it's not about not wanting suffering, it's about wanting to go to closer to Krishna. When we shift that, where we are focusing, then that can actually help us face things, and it can help us come closer to Krishna. The struggles can be not just struggles, rather, or impediments, rather, can help us come close to Krishna. So these are the three things that adjust the expectation. Embrace the situation means accept it as Krishna's arrangement, and aspire for connection to Krishna through that situation. How can I actually increase my connection with Krishna through this experience? So it's what Krishna actually wants is not just an outward performance of bhakti, rather an internal transformation of our consciousness. And for that, he will shake up all our false securities, all our attachments. He will shake it up. And that's what we see in the life of Parikshit Maharaj, that's what we see in the life of Chitraketu, that's what we see in the life of Bhishma, that's what we see in the life of Kunti. In the pages of Bhagavatam, tell me one devotee who had it all very smooth and a linear journey. And the name of the book is Bhagavatam. It's a life story of devotees, and there's not even a single person who had a linear journey. Gajendra, no, Gajendra's story is also very fascinating. Like, he gave up all his kingdom, like another king who gave up all his kingdom and at least voluntarily took to austerity in order to grow close to Krishna. At least here Parikshit, he did a mistake and the curse came, and then he renounced the kingdom. Indradimna Maharaj, he gave up his kingdom voluntarily and went to the forest and was meditating. And a lot of sages would come and go in the forest. He thought, okay, another Rishi, my God, like I want to meditate, and this another Rishi I need to focus on, like I need to receive, and it's going to create delay in my sadhana. So Agastya thought, okay, you are too much focused on your sadhana, you don't know how to receive devotees properly. But I do understand you really want to go close to Krishna and you want to advance in bhakti. Okay, let me give you a mercy. Let me give you my mercy by cursing you to become an elephant. Because if you continue your sadhana, you will take many lifetimes. Through this curse, in one lifetime you will actually go. You really want to advance in bhakti. That's why you are not paying attention to me. Okay, I accept that. Become an elephant. Like, it feels like, oh my God, this person gave up everything, voluntarily went to the forest, and receiving a curse feels like a complete, injustice. But right in one life, the Lord personally assumes, Hari, the Manvantara avatar, personally comes for him. Forever, like we would not even known about Indradimna Maharaj if he just made it on his own. But he made it to the pages of the Bhagavatam because he got cursed. That struggle actually defined his life and brought him extraordinary mercy. So in our own lives, it's coming all the time. It's just that I feel like all the struggles that are present currently in my life and that I have faced in my life is in one way bringing me closer to Krishna. I'm very slow in recognizing that, and very slow in changing the ways I respond to them. But I see in my own way, whatever little way that I have responded properly, that's what had actually made my bhakti better. So it is exciting, but it is also frightening. However, it is also exciting. Okay, end of the day, what is permanent? There's nothing permanent other than our relationship with Krishna. So as long as we are coming closer to Krishna, for that we are doing sadhana. We think I'll do sadhana and one day I'll wake up in the morning and there will be no influence of modes of passion and ignorance. I'll be completely situated in Shuddha Sattva. Nothing will attract my attention. I'll be just me and Krishna, nothing in between. So we expect something kind of a very a romantic idea of spiritual advancement we have. So that's what Krishna is breaking. And Bhagavatam does not promise in anywhere. And we don't know how in this world we develop this idea that spiritual advancement is going to be very smooth and romantic. Because every pastime in Bhagavatam says otherwise. But somehow after reading all of that for so many years, I am convinced in my heart that life is going to be smooth. At least I think they were all different. My life is going to be an exception. That Krishna will make it all smooth. So despite reading and hearing for so many years, still I'm conditioned to think obstacles are bad. Obstacles won't come in my life, and obstacles are insurmountable. Radha Krishna is saying, no, expect problems, adjust your expectation, embrace the situation, don't think it is bad, see the good in it, and don't think it is insurmountable. Use it to actually connect with me. So that's why he's saying, Mat prasada tarishyati. So if you take shelter of me, you will overcome this. There is nothing insurmountable internally. So these are the three things. Adjust the expectations, don't think obstacles are bad or obstacles won't come in my life, and have joyful connection. So these are some thoughts through the pastime of Parikshit Maharaj taking shelter, and through him we all receive Srimad Bhagavatam, and he received the blessings and the association of Shukadeva Goswami through that struggle. And in some way, if we can also take this and try to look into our lives and see how much we have gained from the struggles that we have gone through, it can actually reinforce our confidence in and being excited about coming closer to Krishna rather than being paranoid about not suffering. Anything else that anybody wants to add?
I just wanted to quote Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 8, verse 25, when Kunti said, I wish all those calamities would happen again and again so that we could see you again and again. She took it very positively.
We suffer, so we hesitate saying prayer before Krishna. We mostly. Yeah, because basically it breaks she says actually the continuation of thought is very beautiful in those verses. She says that Janmaishwarya Shruta Shri Vireda Manamadakuma Naivarhati Avidatum Vaitwama Kinchana Gocharam. She says actually all the good in this world are actually the real bad, because they stop me from having feelings for you. When I have everything is comfortable in life, actually it becomes an impediment because I cannot actually cry out with feeling. So those are real dangers. She says actually the comforts of this world are the real dangers, and the real dangers they are not dangers. They bring me closer to Krishna. So that's why she's saying I want this danger. This is much better danger. The material difficulties, material dangers are much more good thing than the material comforts. They are the real dangers. So she sees from that perspective. And basically all of these things, like the suffering in life of a devotee is there because to break the illusion of control that we all very implicitly have. It is basically to break that illusion of control that we hold on to and to soften our heart. Otherwise, there is no humility. Otherwise, in a conditioned soul's heart, when we go through suffering, we actually understand we are vulnerable. We are not as big and great as we thought. So then it also softens the heart, and we don't judge others when others go through problems. I see, okay, Krishna is working in this devotee's life, and I don't judge. I know this person deserved this kind of a suffering. I don't have that kind of an attitude. I think, okay, Radha Mulidhar, another is playing in your life, and it's Radha Mulidhar's way of arranging things in someone's life. When we can see our own life and others' life in perspective. So our perspective does not make our heart hard, rather it softens our heart. And also it helps us redirect our attachment from other things in the world towards Krishna. We understand I cannot depend on anything or anyone in this world other than Krishna. And it deepens our surrender. So the suffering has a role in the life of a devotee, and that's what Kunti is expressing. The surrender brings me closer to you, so that I prefer these dangers.
I can speak maybe.
Oh, that's okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So when you say comforts are impediments, does it include the basic things as well, or anything above the basic things, which are more like, I want better, like do this basic things? Those are actually impediments, right?
Yeah, means we need to decide, because there are also things if we won't have, we will not be able to be peacefully focused on Krishna. I remember one devotee said, "Oh, this job, I hate this," and he was going on and on. I asked, and then after a few months, he lost the job, and he was lamenting that now he does not have a job. And what will I was like, Prabhu, before a few months you were complaining that the job was you are having a job and how difficult it is. Now you're lamenting that you don't have a job, because that's the platform on which our material life is being sustained. So we need to be maintained. So we do have certain basic needs. So there is nothing wrong. That is not diverged from devotional service. And if they are distracting us, then it can become a potential obstacle. But otherwise, we do need basics. So it's not that we need to force ourselves. I remember one person in India in the 1930s, 40s. He was a big judge, and then he resigned everything overnight, and then he joined Gandhi's movement and was sleeping in the ashram. He was just owning a couple of dhotis, and he committed suicide. He couldn't handle that level of losing that identity. So we are in the process of shifting one identity to another identity. We currently think I am so and so, I have these skills, I have this money, all these things, this is one identity, and then we are thinking I am Krishna's servant is another identity. So we have to gradually go from here to there. It cannot be an overnight shift. So take what you need to peacefully focus on Krishna.
But if we are too much attached to this comfort thing, then it will not.
Krishna will tell us in our heart. We will come to know a point that I am over enduring. I don't need this. That intelligence will come inside if you are sincere. Krishna will let us know, and our devotees around us will let us know that okay, you're going a little overboard. Then we can actually. It's basically like driving. You go a little bit where you come this way. So it's gradually we learn, and then we can naturally let go. There is nothing wrong in bhakti. Be yourself, and Krishna will take you where you need to go. It's not a problem.
Will you speak more about that?
Be yourself. It sounded very
Oh,
cheesy.
about the part where you said Krishna will tell us in our heart if we are over endeavoring.
Yeah, if we are really want to come close to Krishna, also on the side you're really doing your sadhana, and also you have silly attachments. I cannot give details of my life, but yeah, like as you're a brahmachari, you have like you really want to come close to Krishna. That's what you pray. That's what you're supposed to. And then I do have my own small attachment, and I see how Krishna actually sometimes fulfills it and makes me feel like a stupid, and I'm embarrassed that I have this desire. I just like no, I don't want this. Like I voluntarily give it up. Like this thing, I think it's so silly that I'm attached to this. This is no more. So sometimes he satisfies it in order for me to feel that okay, you were so much wanting this. Okay, have it and see if you're really satisfied. And I realize, oh, this is so shallow, Krishna. I don't want this. And next time I voluntarily say, I think this is also shallow. It's okay to let it go. So Krishna does it in many ways. Sometimes he frustrates us and teaches us that we don't need this. Sometimes he fulfills it and makes us embarrassed, and we will give it up. So he has in many ways. So there is a beautiful Bhagavatam verse that Krishna says, you can go to demigods and pray, but they fulfill it differently. But he says, I fulfill the desires of my devotees in a different way, that when I fulfill, I fulfill it in such a way that they won't come back to me again asking for that. So he said that I make sure that they won't come back to me again and ask for the same thing. I will fulfill it in such a way that they will become detached from those things and become attached to me.
someone else have a question? Because I could ask another one. Okay, we've got.
Thank you very much for very perspective shifting points. A struggle with Krishna is better than a struggle with karma. Sometimes we are satisfied, chanting's going well, reading's going well, and material life is going well. So are we just waiting for a reversal?
If you actively go close to Krishna, use those good times to come close to Krishna, then Krishna has no reason to put any thing. But if we are attached to not having a reversal in life, that's what again, like, as long as your focus is on Krishna, that's fine. The moment you think, you are attached to comfort, so you have to look into your heart. What are you attached to? Are you attached to Krishna or the comfort? So then Krishna will do the needful.
It's okay. Thank you.
It's okay, you're saying it's okay that I'm comfortable, Krishna don't bother me. I think it's time for the kirtan. So maybe we can, for us we can speak.
Will you
Srimad
lead?
Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Gaur Sharan ki
We'd like to thank Gaur Sharan Prabhu for his wonderful lecture. And I want to thank every single one of you for being here, and especially those who made very thoughtful comments today. So please let us join together for kirtan and arati for the deities. And later on, we will have prashadam.
Hare
Hare Krishna, thank you everyone for being at our program. So next week, Jagannath Gopal Prabhu will be the guest speaker. And in 2 weeks from now is Ram Navami. I believe at 4 p.m. there will be a program that starts. If I read correctly, His Holiness Raghunath Swami will grace us with his presence and have a lecture. And in the meantime, we will have prasadam now. I think we should do the prasadam song. Mom?
It's your name first.
Oh, sure, I apologize.
Yeah? Anybody?
I went ahead of the schedule, I apologize, everybody.
Well,
I'll let you go.
good. Thunder, put it.
Oh, where's,
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Prahlad Maharaj ki Gaur Premanande. So we're going to take prashadam, and we will start with prayers. Mahaprasade Govinde,
Mahaprasade Govinde,
Nama Brahmani Vaishnave, Svapa Punya Bhaktatam Rajan, Vishvasunaya Vajayate, Sharira Vijyaja, Johindriya Tahika, Jiva Pele Vishaya Sagare, Tadamadya Jivayati, Lobe Moisudurmati, Takachita Katina Samsare, Krishna Borodaya Moy, Hori Bhava Jiva Joy, Svaprasan Anatila Bhai, Sayanamrita Kau, Radha Krishna Gunago, Premediko Shri Chaitanya Nitai, Jai Nitai Jai Nimai, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advait Gadadhara, Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Mahaprasad ki. Thank you once again, everyone, for your attendance.